would that change fraction-wise if I shaded in 5 out of 10 on the hundreds chart? What would my fraction then say? Megan? 50 out of 100. What if I did the exact same thing on the thousands chart? What would my fraction say? Jillian? 500 out of 1,000. And just for giggles, if I did it on the 10,000s chart,
It'd be 5,000 out of 10,000.
it would be, exactly, Roman, 5,000 out of 10,000. Okay? Percentage-wise, out of the whole 100%, how much have I shaded percent-wise? Megan? 50%. Over here, out of the whole 100%, how much have I shaded? Caitlin? I've shaded 50%. Does that change the amount that I've shaded? No. So they're all 50%. Decimal-wise, if I shaded 5/10, I have 0.5, right? Are you okay? If I shaded 50 hundredths, how would I write that as a decimal? Noah?
0.50.
0.50. If I shaded 500 thousandths, what would I write as a decimal? Come on, people. Three people in the back row, that's it?
I'm getting another picture.
Ben?
0.500.
Yeah, 0.500. Are these all the same decimal?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're same. They're equivalent. For this one, if I have 5,000 10,000ths, what would I write, Jillian?
0.50.
0.5000. So for your paper number 1, all of these decimals should be written down as equivalences. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 equivalences in the decimal section. Do it now. Because I see these people have 1 equivalent. We're looking at number 1, not number 3. Write down all the equivalences. You don't need to do it on this chart. Look here. You don't need to do this. I'm using this to show you that they're equivalent to each other. You're writing all the decimals on number 1, page 23. Also, for fractions, on number 1 for fractions, the fraction equivalences that you should have 5/10 is the same as 50 out of 100, which is the same as 500 out of 1,000, which is the same as 5,000 out of 10,000. Okay? It's also the same, yes, as 1/2. Okay? Moving on to number 2. Clear the ink, please. You got it. Number 2 says to shade in how much? Luke. 295 thousandths. On this chart, which one should I go to first?
The thousandths.
The thousandths. So I'm going to shade in 295 thousandths. Each one is worth 10 in a box. So the first row is worth 100. The second row is worth 200. I want to shade 295 thousandths. So I'm going to shade in all. Let's see here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95. Here's 295 out of 1,000. shade? Noah? 2. That represents the 200. What would I do with that third row? Here's the 90, right? Here's the 5. Is it the same as this? What would I do in the hundreds chart? Hannah?
You would shade it
2
2 rows.
rows, which equal the 200.
And then in the third row you would do
9 of them, which represents 90. And then what would I do last? Caitlin? Shade half of the last one. That also represents 295. What would I do in the 10,000s? 10,000s. Done. 2 rows. You're doing the exact same thing every time, right? It's just inside each one there are tinier pieces that represent it. Now, this is 295 out of 1,000. How many did I shade out of 10 up here? How many rows did I shade out of 10? There are 6 people as I looked around the room that were not paying attention at all. Roman?
You would shade 2 and 95 100ths.
2.95 out of 10 is how you would write that. What about the hundreds? Out of 100 squares, how many did I shade here? Clark?
You shaded 29 and a half.
29.5 or a half out of 100. Out of 10,000 here, we got to figure out how many's in each little one here, right? If there are 10 in this little square, how many's in this little square to equal 10,000? Yeah.
20, 129, and a half.
So I see 2.95, 29.5, 295 out of 10,000. What?
Oh,
Come on. 2,000. 2,950 little tiny squares, right? Those are all the fraction equivalences. Do you see a pattern now? The numbers stay the same. You have decimals, okay? The amounts change. Changing it over to a percent. Out of 100% here, how much have we shaded? The whole thing is 100%. I've shaded how much? Hunter?
Out of 100 you shaded.
This is easy. It's over 100. Anything over 100, you change right into a percent, right? So if it's 2.95 over 10,
20.
let's look at this one. This one's over 100. So this one will just be this, 29.5%. Did I shade the same amount here? Yeah. So my percent stays the same. Did I shade the same amount here? So my percentage that I shaded stays the same. Did I shade the same amount here? So the amount stays the same. Percentages are all the same. There's only 1% equivalent. There are 4 fraction equivalences. Now we need to look at the decimal equivalences. I shaded 295 thousandths here. I shaded 2.95 out of 10 here. So that would be 0.295 also. Over here, it would still be 0.295. So these are all the same except for this one. You would add a 0 at the end. So you should have all these decimals, all these fractions, and 1% equivalent.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Nope.
What are we supposed to do with these?
What are they?
The basketball thing? Are we supposed to send them around to the office? Or
That's a good question,
Yeah.
since I haven't received one single one back from my kids.
What? Because I got all but 3 back from my kids after one night.
Where are these? Your basketball slips.
I never got one.
Yeah,
We never got it.
Amanda, did you pass these out in your mailboxes? We didn't get them? No. When did you get them? Yesterday?
Yeah.
That was it.
You were here.
I didn't check my mailbox. Look at me! You don't ask me.
You
I don't
take
know
them down
anything.
just like you were. That's more.
That's right. That's why I'm sad in the park.
Actually, you do take them down to the office. So we can go get them.
They're probably in my mailbox, so I need to remember to check my mailbox.
Yeah. Cody, when you said it.
Awesome.
Cody recorded that all.
Okay, clear the ink, please, and let's look at number 3. Last one that we're going to look at. Actually, we'll look at this tomorrow.